Everyone told Leo he was lucky. Since he was a child, teachers pointed at him as the bright one. His parents beamed with pride when he finished books years ahead of his grade level. To the outside world, Leo had a superpower. They assumed his life was an easy path, a straight line to success where every problem melted away before his superior mind. But as Leo sat in his office at 30 years old, staring at a flickering cursor on a computer screen, he didn't feel lucky. He felt exhausted. He felt heavy. He felt like he was carrying a library on his back while everyone else was carrying a single notebook. Leo was discovering the silent truth that no one tells you. Being highly intelligent isn't just about having a faster brain. It's about living in a world that wasn't built for the way you see it. It is a gift, yes, but it is a gift that comes with a very high price tag. The never-ending echo. The first thing Leo struggled with was the noise. His mind never shut off. Most people can watch a movie, enjoy it, and go to sleep. When Leo watched a movie, his brain began 1,000 different calculations. He analyzed the characters' motives, the historical accuracy of the costumes, the psychological patterns of the director, and how the ending might have changed if one tiny detail were different. Psychologists call this analysis paralysis, but to Leo, it just felt like a cage. One Tuesday night, he spent 4 hours deciding which vacuum cleaner to buy. He read 60 reviews. He looked up the physics of suction power. He compared the decibel levels of the motors. By the time he was done, he was too tired to actually buy anything. He went to bed with a headache. He overthought every text message he sent. Did I sound too aggressive? Did I use too many commas? Does that person secretly dislike me because I didn't use an emoji? While others moved through life with ease, Leo was constantly replaying every possibility in his head. He was a chess player who couldn't stop seeing 20 moves ahead, even when he was just trying to have a cup of coffee. The wall of small talk. The second struggle was the isolation. Leo lived in a crowded city, worked in a busy office, and had many acquaintances, yet he often felt like he was living on a different planet. He craved the deep. He wanted to talk about why humans feel lonely, the future of artificial intelligence, or the philosophy of time. He wanted to dive into the layers of the world. But when he went to lunch with his coworkers, the conversation stayed on the surface. They talked about the weather, the latest celebrity scandal, or what they ate for breakfast. To Leo, small talk felt like physical pain. It wasn't that he felt better than them, it was just that his brain didn't know how to engage with the surface level. He felt like a deep-sea diver trying to survive in a shallow puddle. "Why don't you just relax and talk about normal things?" a friend once asked him. Leo didn't have an answer. He couldn't turn off his depth any more than a tall person could choose to be short for an afternoon. He ended up staying home more often, preferring the company of his own thoughts to the lonely feeling of being misunderstood in a crowd. The burden of seeing too much. The third thing that weighed on Leo was his awareness. It was like he had high-definition vision in a world of blurry shapes. He noticed things others missed. He could see the slight twitch in a coworker's eye that meant they were lying. He could feel the tension in a room the moment he walked in, even if everyone was smiling. He saw the patterns of behavior before they played out. He knew a project was going to fail months in advance because he saw the flaws in the logic early on. But when he tried to warn people, they called him negative or intense. This awareness made him sensitive to everything. He saw the manipulation in advertisements. He saw the hidden motives in political speeches. He saw the quiet sadness in his mother's eyes that she tried so hard to hide. It was exhausting to see the truth behind everything. Sometimes Leo wished he could just see the surface. He wished he could be blissfully unaware just for one day. The ghost of the smart kid. Then there was the pressure. This was the fourth struggle, and it was perhaps the most painful. Because Leo was the smart one, everyone expected him to be perfect. If he made a mistake at work, a supervisor would say, "I'm surprised, Leo. I thought you were smarter than that." This created a monster in his head called imposter syndrome. Even though he was successful, he felt like a fraud. He felt like he was walking on a tightrope, and if he slipped once, he would lose his entire identity. He became terrified of failure. He stopped taking risks because a risk meant he might prove he wasn't as smart as everyone thought. He worked longer hours than anyone else, not because he was slow, but because he was checking his work 10 times. He was paralyzed by the need to maintain the image of the genius. The blessing of intelligence had become a prison of high expectations. The hunger for complexity. The fifth struggle was a strange one: boredom. Leo's brain was like a high-performance engine. If it didn't have a difficult road to drive on, it started to vibrate and break down. Routine tasks felt like torture. Filling out spreadsheets or attending repetitive meetings made him feel like his soul was evaporating. People called him lazy or distracted when he procrastinated, but the truth was he wasn't lazy, he was understimulated. He needed complexity to stay engaged. When a task was too easy, his brain simply shut down. He would zone out, dreaming of grand ideas while his work sat unfinished. He was constantly searching for the next big thing to learn. He taught himself coding in a month, then got bored. He learned to play the piano, then got bored. He was a hunter of challenges, but in a world of routine, there wasn't enough to hunt. The perfectionist's cave. 6. The struggle with perfectionism. Leo didn't just want to do a good job, he wanted to do a perfect job. He had a vision in his head of how things should be, and anything less than that vision felt like a total failure. Psychologists call this maladaptive perfectionism. For Leo, it meant he never felt good enough. He would finish a brilliant presentation, receive a standing ovation, and then go home and cry because he had stuttered on one word during the third slide. He was his own harshest critic. He held himself to a standard that no human being could ever meet. This led to burnout. He would push himself until his body gave up, all because he couldn't accept being average. The question that never stops. 7. He questioned everything. Leo couldn't just accept a rule because that's the way it's always been done. He needed to know why. He questioned authority, he questioned traditions, he even questioned his own beliefs. This made him a great innovator, but it made him a difficult employee and a frustrating friend. People wanted him to just go with the flow, but Leo didn't know how to find the flow. He was always looking for the source of the river. This deep curiosity made him feel disconnected. He felt like a stranger in a world where everyone else seemed to have the answers while he was the only one still asking the questions. The weight of a million hearts. Finally, the 8th struggle was the emotional weight. Leo was highly intelligent, but he was also highly empathetic. He didn't just see the world's problems, he felt them. When he read about a disaster across the ocean, he felt the pain of the victims as if they were his own family. Psychologists call this emotional contagion. Leo absorbed the emotions of the people around him. If a coworker was stressed, Leo became stressed. If his partner was sad, Leo carried that sadness for days. Because his brain processed information so deeply, it also processed emotion deeply. He didn't just hear a story, he lived it in his mind. He carried a heavy backpack of emotions that didn't even belong to him. The turning point. One day, Leo reached his breaking point. He was sitting in a park, feeling the weight of all 8 struggles at once. He felt lonely, bored, pressured, and exhausted. He looked at the people around him, people laughing, eating ice cream, talking about nothing, and he felt a surge of envy. Why can't I just be like them, he thought. Why does my brain have to be like this? As he sat there, an old man sat down on the bench next to him. The man was holding a book on physics. Leo noticed the title and couldn't help himself. He asked the man a question about it. They talked for 2 hours. For the first time in years, Leo wasn't doing small talk. They talked about the stars, the nature of light, and the mystery of the human mind. When they were done, the old man looked at Leo and said, "You have a very bright light in there, young man, I can see it. But a bright light can burn the house down if you don't have a lantern to hold it." Leo realized then that he had been trying to hide his light because it was too hot. He had been viewing his intelligence as a curse because he didn't know how to manage it. Learning to balance. Leo began to change the way he lived. He realized that being highly intelligent wasn't about having all the answers, it was about finding balance. He built boundaries. He learned to say no to people who drained his energy. He stopped trying to feel everyone else's pain and started focusing on how he could actually help. He accepted his overthinking. Instead of trying to stop it, he gave it a job. He started writing. He put his complex thoughts into stories and essays. He gave his brain a playground so it wouldn't cause trouble in his daily life. He found his people. He stopped trying to force deep conversations with people who weren't ready for them. He sought out communities of thinkers, artists, and creators. He realized that he wasn't too much, he just hadn't found the right room yet. He embraced good enough. He started practicing the art of being imperfect. He deliberately made small mistakes to show himself that the world wouldn't end. He learned that his value wasn't tied to his IQ, but to his heart. The motivational truth. If you are reading this and you feel like Leo, I want you to know something. Your mind is not a curse. Yes, you overthink. Yes, you feel lonely. Yes, the world feels heavy and loud and confusing sometimes. But that is only because you are seeing more of the world than most people ever will. You see the layers, you see the patterns, you see the beauty and the complexity. The struggle you feel is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you are powerful. A high-performance engine needs more maintenance than a simple one. A deep ocean is more turbulent than a backyard pond. You aren't too much, you are just deep. The world needs your questions, it needs your empathy, it needs the way you see the hidden motives and the beautiful patterns. Don't let the pressure to be perfect crush you, don't let the boredom turn you into a ghost, don't let the noise of the world drown out the music in your head. Find your lantern, build your boundaries, find the people who speak your language. Being highly intelligent is a rare gift. It is a heavy gift, but it is yours. And once you learn how to carry it, you will realize that you aren't just here to solve problems faster or succeed without trying. You are here to see the world in a way that helps everyone else see it a little more clearly, too. You are not alone in your deep thinking, you are part of